The untamed mind. Confronting the chaos. In our hyper-connected world, our brains are in a constant state of bombardment. Notifications ping, deadlines loom, and an endless stream of to-do lists pulls us in countless directions. We often feel scattered, overwhelmed, and perpetually behind. But what if there was an ancient method, a timeless wisdom that could quiet this relentless chaos, focus the mind with laser-like precision, and finally empower us to achieve our goals? In this exploration, we will delve into the Lotus Method, a profound approach rooted deeply in Eastern philosophy. This method offers a transformative path to convert a state of scattered distraction into one of serene, unwavering focus. If you bypass this understanding, you risk remaining trapped in the relentless cycle of distraction, never quite breaking free. Read on, absorb these insights, and begin to transform your life, starting now. Part 1. Khan's battle with resistance meet. Khan, a man of immense potential. Much like many of us, he dreams of a life filled with purpose, productivity, and profound achievement. Yet, every time he attempts to embark on something truly meaningful, something holds him back. It's not a lack of motivation. Khan consumes an endless stream of motivational videos, devours self-help podcasts, and meticulously reads books on personal development. He understands the principles of success. He feels the surge of inspiration, and he genuinely wants to act. However, when the moment for action arrives, his own brain seems to sabotage his efforts. His attention is effortlessly diverted towards paths of least resistance, towards comfort and instant gratification, most notably, mindlessly scrolling through his phone. Each time Khan plans a significant undertaking, his consciousness instinctively seeks something easier, something less demanding. He finds himself caught in a frustrating loop of procrastination and self-doubt. He's acutely aware of what's happening, yet he feels powerless to stop it. This isn't merely Khan's problem. It's a universal human struggle. The vast majority of people face the very same challenge. Our minds are hardwired to avoid anything that appears complex, unfamiliar, or uncomfortable, opting instead for the well-worn paths of ease and familiarity. We get sidetracked by social media, immerse ourselves in video games, or simply drift into pleasant daydreams. Khan is, in essence, at war with himself, and no amount of external motivational input provides a lasting effect. He's beginning to realize that what he needs is something far deeper than a fleeting burst of enthusiasm. He needs a fundamental shift in how his mind operates. In Eastern philosophy, the human mind is frequently likened to a wild monkey, leaping frantically from one branch to another, from one thought to the next, perpetually avoiding anything unpleasant or challenging. Buddha himself articulated this profound truth. Your worst enemy cannot harm you as much as your own unguarded thoughts. This is precisely what Khan experiences. His own mind, his internal landscape, distracts him from his deepest desires, choosing immediate comfort over long-term fulfillment. Ancient monks, with their profound understanding of human nature, recognized this pervasive problem centuries ago. They developed sophisticated methods designed to tame the unruly mind, guiding it towards clarity, tranquility, and sustained focus. Khan's predicament is, at its core, the normal state of the human mind. Our minds, by their very nature, resist difficulty, preferring safety, predictability, and the familiar. However, the foundational teachings of Eastern philosophies, which underpin the Lotus Method, teach us that confronting the mind head-on in a battle of wills is rarely the most effective approach. When we push against our mind's natural inclination to avoid discomfort, it often pushes back with even greater force, creating a vicious cycle of internal struggle. But this dynamic can be profoundly altered through awareness. When Khan begins to understand that his brain is simply programmed to avoid the complex, he stops berating himself. This is the first crucial lesson of the Lotus Method. Before you can even begin to guide your mind, you must first comprehend its inherent nature and its tendency to resist difficulty. Khan ceases to suppress his impulses and instead starts to consciously observe the role of this ingrained mechanism. Now, instead of criticizing himself, he simply observes his thoughts and reactions. This shift in perspective opens the path to the next vital step, releasing resistance and learning to flow with the current of his thoughts, rather than constantly battling against them. It is in this newfound awareness and acceptance that the journey to true focus begins. Part 2. Embracing the flow. The art of non-resistance. Khan's realization that his previous methods, forcing himself to work, pushing through with sheer willpower, were ultimately fruitless, leads him to seek a deeper wisdom. He discovers the teachings of Lao Tzu, the venerable philosopher of Taoism. Lao Tzu speaks of the profound concept of Wu Wei, often translated as non-action or effortless action. It's about living in harmony with the flow of life, rather than constantly struggling against it. One of Lao Tzu's insights particularly resonated with Khan. When you let go, everything is done. At first, this seems utterly counterintuitive. How can letting go lead to achievement? But Khan begins to grasp that perhaps he has been stuck precisely because he's been pushing too hard, constantly battling himself. The Lotus Method, deeply inspired by this Taoist philosophy, asserts that the solution isn't to exert more pressure, but rather to cease struggling altogether. This concept might appear paradoxical in our modern world, where the prevailing mantra is work harder. Yet Lao Tzu suggests that if we flow with the current of life, rather than resisting it, we can achieve far more with less struggle. This doesn't imply passive inaction or letting things drift aimlessly. Instead, it means ceasing to perceive challenging tasks as adversaries. When we exert excessive force, our minds and bodies often recoil in opposition. But if we align ourselves with the natural current, we move forward with significantly less effort. Khan starts to apply this principle. Instead of forcing himself to tackle difficult tasks, he begins to accept them as part of the natural flow. To his astonishment, the tasks no longer feel so burdensome. This is how he transitions to the second pivotal step of the Lotus Method, releasing resistance and finding harmony in his actions. To elaborate on this principle, consider the analogy of swimming against a strong current. If you fight it with all your might, you quickly become exhausted and make little progress. However, if you understand the current, learn to use its power, or even float with it, you can conserve energy and find a path forward. Similarly, when our minds resist a task, they create an internal current of negativity and struggle. By releasing this resistance, we stop expending energy fighting ourselves. Practical application of Wu Wei for focus. Acknowledge, don't fight. When a daunting task arises, your mind might instantly generate resistance. This is too hard. I don't feel like it. I'll do it later. Instead of berating yourself for these thoughts, simply acknowledge them. Okay, mind, I hear you. You're feeling resistant right now. This simple act of acknowledgement without judgment can deflate the intensity of the resistance. Break down. The flow. Often, the sheer size of a task creates resistance. Break it down into the smallest possible, non-intimidating steps. Instead of write a report, think open the document. Write the first sentence. Each tiny step becomes part of a manageable flow rather than an overwhelming barrier. Find your flow state. This is a psychological term where you are fully immersed in an activity, energized by a feeling of focus and enjoying the process. While Wu Wei isn't identical to flow state, embracing non-resistance can lead to it. Identify the conditions where you naturally feel more engaged, a specific time of day, a particular environment, or certain types of music. Embrace the first step principle. The greatest resistance is often to starting. Commit to just 5 or 10 minutes of the task. Tell yourself, I'm just going to start this, and if I feel too much resistance after 5 minutes, I can stop. Often, once the initial resistance is overcome, the momentum of flow takes over. Mindful procrastination. Instead of mindlessly scrolling, if you feel an undeniable urge to procrastinate, do it mindfully for a set period. I will scroll for exactly 10 minutes, then I will return to my task. This conscious choice, rather than unconscious avoidance, can give you a sense of control and reduce the internal battle. The power of acceptance. Accept that some tasks will simply feel difficult. Don't fight the feeling of difficulty. Accept it as part of the process. This feels hard, and that's okay. I will proceed anyway. This acceptance reduces the emotional burden associated with challenging work. By integrating this wisdom, Khan learns that true harmony in action isn't about eliminating effort, but about eliminating the internal friction that drains his energy. He learns to ride the waves of his tasks rather than being crushed by them, discovering that ease can be found even in demanding endeavors. This shift from forceful pushing to harmonious flow is a radical departure from conventional productivity advice, yet it unlocks a profound sense of inner peace and sustainable progress. Part 3. The power of stillness and contemplation. As Khan progresses, he continues his quest to quiet his restless mind. He stumbles upon Zen Buddhism and the practice of Zazen, or seated meditation. From an external perspective, Zazen appears deceptively simple. Just sit and be silent. Yet when Khan attempts it, he immediately notices the frenetic activity of his mind. A relentless internal chatter, a compulsion to do more and be productive. His monkey mind, true to its nature, leaps wildly from one thought to the next, pulling him away from the present moment. But his Zen master, Dong, offered a profound insight. If you cannot find the truth right here, then where else are you going to look for it? This simple question slowly began to resonate with Khan. Gradually, he comes to realize that true strength, clarity, and insight don't originate from relentless activity or external striving, but from inner stillness. Through consistent practice of Zazen, Khan observes a remarkable transformation. His mind, once resembling a turbulent lake buffeted by strong winds, gradually begins to calm. The ripples subside, and the surface of his awareness becomes still and reflective. It is precisely in these moments of profound silence that he begins to perceive his problems differently. They no longer appear insurmountable, but rather transform into steps for growth, opportunities for learning and expansion. He realizes that his constant rushing, his incessant need to be busy, had prevented him from noticing the true nature of his tasks and challenges. He had been so caught up in the doing that he missed the wisdom inherent in being. This understanding marks the third pivotal step of the Lotus Method, cultivating stillness. Just as the roots of the lotus flower anchor themselves deeply in the muddy soil, drawing nourishment and stability from what appears to be chaos, Khan learns to find his grounding in the mud of his own mind. The difficulties and distractions in Khan's life, the very internal chaos he initially fought against, become the fertile ground that nourishes his development. By consistently dedicating time to quiet reflection each day, he learns to approach his goals with a clear, collected, and centered mind. Elaborating on the practice of stillness. Understanding the monkey mind, the Zen concept of the monkey. Mind is crucial here. It's not a flaw to be eradicated, but a natural state of the untrained mind. Recognizing its presence without judgment is the first step toward taming it. When thoughts race, simply observe them, without attaching to them or letting them carry you away. The role of meditation. Zazen is a formal practice, but the principle of stillness can be cultivated in many ways. Even short periods of mindful, breathing-focused observation of a single object, like a candle flame, or walking meditation can help quiet the mind. The key is consistent practice, even for just 5 to 10 minutes a day. It's not about emptying the mind, but about changing your relationship with your thoughts, moving from being controlled by them to observing them. Stillness as a foundation. Imagine a chaotic kitchen. Before you can cook effectively, you need to clean and organize. Stillness is that act of cleaning and organizing your mental space. It allows you to see what truly needs attention, rather than reacting to every passing thought or external stimulus. The clarity born from calm. When the mental lake is still, reflections become clear. Problems that seemed overwhelming in a chaotic state of mind begin to reveal their solutions when viewed from a place of calm. This isn't about avoiding problems, but approaching them with a fresh, unburdened perspective. Beyond formal meditation, cultivating stillness can extend beyond a dedicated meditation cushion. It can be found in a moment of mindful tea drinking, a conscious walk in nature, or simply pausing for a few breaths before responding to an email. These small moments throughout the day accumulate, building your capacity for inner peace. The paradox of action from inaction. This step isn't about stopping action, but about informing action with presence. True stillness is not inertia. It is a profound wellspring from which truly effective and intentional action can spring. When the mind is calm, decisions are clearer, movements are more precise, and energy is conserved. By embracing stillness, Khan learns that the answers to his problems often lie within, revealed when the external noise and internal chatter subside. This disciplined cultivation of inner quietude transforms his relationship with his goals, allowing him to approach them with greater wisdom, patience, and unwavering focus. The mud of distraction now serves as the rich earth from which his lotus of clarity will blossom. Part 4. Transforming contemplation into action. Having immersed himself in the practice of stillness, Khan begins to notice profound changes. His mind is no longer as chaotic. The constant mental noise has significantly diminished. Yet he knows that true mastery isn't just about inner peace. He recalls the Shaolin monks, renowned not only for their deep meditative practices, but also for their incredible physical prowess and disciplined action. He understands that true harmony emerges from the unity of mental clarity and physical execution. If the mind is calm, the body can act with maximum efficiency. If the mind is in turmoil, the body's actions become disordered and ineffective. Khan realizes that while meditation provides him with clarity, there will be no progress without corresponding action. Just like the Shaolin monks, who transfer the tranquility of their minds into every precise movement of their bodies, he begins to apply his newfound collectedness to his daily life. Now, instead of juggling multiple tasks simultaneously, he tackles them one by one, pouring all his energy and attention into each specific endeavor. To his surprise, what once seemed arduous now feels significantly easier and more manageable. This transition marks the fourth crucial step of the Lotus Method, mindful action. Khan understands that success isn't about doing 100 things at once, but about executing each individual task with complete and undivided concentration. Now, complex tasks no longer intimidate him. He approaches them calmly, methodically, and with a quiet determination that was previously elusive. Deep dive into mindful action. The one thing at a time. Principle. In our multitasking culture, the idea of doing one thing at a time seems inefficient. However, research in psychology and neuroscience consistently shows that true multitasking is a myth. What we do is task switching, which is highly inefficient and mentally draining. Mindful action means committing fully to the task at hand, blocking out all other distractions. Examples: when writing an email, only write the email. Close all other tabs, silence your phone. When having a conversation, only focus on the conversation, truly listening. When working on a report, dedicate a specific block of time solely to that report. The power of presence. Mindful action is about bringing your full self to the present moment. It's not just about what you're doing, but how you're doing it. Are you fully engaged, or is a part of your mind already thinking about the next task, or lingering on past worries? Cultivating presence makes even mundane tasks more engaging and effective. Intentionality over reactivity. Before beginning a task, pause for a moment. What is the intention behind this action? What is the desired outcome? This brief moment of intentionality can transform a reactive response into a deliberate, focused effort. For example, instead of just opening your inbox, decide why you're opening it and what you aim to achieve. E.g., I will respond to these 2 urgent emails, then close it. Micro-focus periods. It's unrealistic to maintain intense focus for hours on end. Employ techniques like the Pomodoro technique. 25 minutes of focused work, 5 minutes break. These short bursts of intense mindful action, followed by brief periods of mental rest, can be incredibly effective in sustaining concentration over longer periods. Body and mind alignment. Just as the Shaolin monks' physical movements were extensions of their calm minds, strive for alignment in your own tasks. If you're physically tense, it can hinder mental clarity. Take a moment to relax your shoulders, breathe deeply, and ground yourself before diving into a demanding task. This physical relaxation can translate into mental ease. The joy of completion. When you engage in mindful action, you often experience a deeper sense of satisfaction upon completing a task. It's not just about crossing it off a list, but about the quality of engagement you brought to it. This intrinsic reward reinforces the habit of focused work. Overcoming overwhelm. When faced with a large project, the tendency is to feel overwhelmed and then procrastinate. Mindful action encourages breaking it down into smaller, manageable actions that can be completed with full focus. I will write one paragraph of this essay. I will complete one slide of this presentation. Each small, mindfully executed step builds momentum and chips away at the larger task. Khan's journey through this fourth step of the Lotus Method reveals a powerful truth. True productivity isn't about speed or quantity, but about the quality of presence and concentration brought to each individual action. By transforming his contemplation into deliberate, mindful action, he gains not only efficiency, but also a profound sense of calm mastery over his daily endeavors. He's no longer just doing things. He's being fully present in every task, cultivating a deeper connection to his work and his purpose. Part 5. The Lotus and the Art of Patience. Khan continues his journey. He notices that even though he's now acting with greater focus, progress isn't always as swift as he'd like. Moments of impatience creep in, and he finds himself becoming frustrated, wondering if he's doing something wrong. But then he remembers the lotus flower. This magnificent bloom slowly, painstakingly, grows out of the murky, muddy depths, only to finally unfurl its pristine petals in full glory on the water's surface. In the teachings of Eastern monks and mystics, the lotus is a potent symbol of patience, purity, and enlightenment that emerges from the most challenging conditions, the very muddy water of life's difficulties. Khan realizes that he, too, needs patience. Slow but unwavering steps are the true path to success. If he tries to rush events, to force the pace, it will only create additional internal resistance and frustration, pushing him back into the cycles of struggle he worked so hard to escape. However, by embracing the slow, natural unfolding, the gradual blossoming of his efforts, as the norm, he ceases to be agitated. He lets go of the need for instant gratification and the expectation of rapid results. Instead, he cultivates a profound, almost spiritual sense of deep inner tranquility that he had never known before. This is how Khan assimilates the final, quintessential lesson of the Lotus Method, the art of patience. He now finds a deep calm, an unwavering resolve that was previously unattainable. This final step isn't just about waiting, it's about trusting. The process, understanding that true growth and mastery require time, sustained effort, and an acceptance of natural rhythms. Just as a seed doesn't become a mighty tree overnight, profound personal transformation unfolds in its own season. Elaborating on the art of patience, understanding the natural rhythm of growth. Impatience often stems from unrealistic expectations. We live in a world that promotes instant results, but genuine, lasting change, whether it's learning a new skill, achieving a significant goal, or mastering your mind, requires sustained effort over time. The Lotus teaches us that beauty emerges from a process that is often hidden and slow. The danger of forcing results. When we try to force an outcome, we often create tension, stress, and self-sabotage. This can manifest as burnout, mistakes, or simply giving up when progress isn't immediate. Patience, conversely, allows for sustained effort without the draining effects of internal friction. Patience is a form of non-resistance. This final step ties back to the concept of Wu Wei, non-action, non-resistance, from Part 2. Patience is the ultimate manifestation of non-resistance to the timeline of results. It's accepting that the effort is the action and the outcome will emerge in its own time, as long as the effort is consistent and mindful. Cultivating acceptance of the present moment. Impatience pulls us into an imagined future where our goals are already achieved, or it traps us in a past where we feel we should have done more. Patience anchors us firmly in the present moment, allowing us to fully engage with the tasks at hand, knowing that each small, focused action contributes to the larger goal. Celebrating small victories. To sustain patience, it's crucial to acknowledge and celebrate incremental progress. Each tiny step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. This positive reinforcement fuels motivation and reinforces the belief in the long-term process, making the wait feel less arduous. Learning from setbacks with equanimity. When setbacks occur, impatience can lead to despair or giving up. Patience allows us to view setbacks not as failures, but as opportunities for learning and recalibration. The muddy water the lotus grows from isn't a problem, it's a necessary part of its journey. Trusting your inner compass. With patience, Khan learns to trust his inner wisdom and the natural unfolding of his efforts. He understands that genuine mastery isn't rushed, it's grown. This deep trust reduces anxiety and fosters a profound sense of inner peace, even when the path ahead seems long or unclear. Khan's journey through the Lotus Method culminates in this profound understanding of patience. He now embodies a tranquility that was once unimaginable, knowing that true mastery over the mind and true achievement in life are not about instantaneous leaps, but about the unwavering, mindful, and patient cultivation of consistent effort. The lotus, born from the mud, stands as a testament to the transformative power of embracing the process, one breath, one action, one moment at a time. Now, a question for you. Considering the insights into the Lotus Method and Khan's journey, which of these 5 steps resonates most deeply with your own current challenges in focus and productivity? Are you battling resistance, seeking stillness, or struggling with the patience required for growth?